here we are. Let's see just how far we got. So we can come here, drop some fuel in. Doesn't do anything right now. Drop some more. Yep, cool. Okay, so now I need to work on input, and then I get to work on the fun stuff of trying to figure out where to have um, some kind of tick operating. I'm not really sure where that's going to be right now. Um, I guess it can be working while in the scene, um, but obviously that means when you leave the scene, nothing happens. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how this is gonna play out. But yeah, the next thing for now anyway, let's figure out how to add input items. So I've got this add item to fuel, so I should probably have something like that for input. Item to input. So we'll get the furnace data and then we will do something with it. I think it was just input item. Yep, I've got it down below here. And that is an object. So the item is going to be equal to item. Data class is going to equal this dot get data class from item, which is a function we set up that just figures out whether it should be an item, weapon, or armor. Item ID, which is just item.id, and then quantity is going to be 1 as well. So there's going to be some kind of function like this again. So let's see, where is it actually being started from? On item OK. If the category is fuel, select the fuel. If the category is equal to input, I can't actually remember if that's what I called it. Where is the category window? Yeah, okay, fuel, input, output. So we'll do this, select input. So let's see, select fuel will have some kind of equivalent. Select input. So we'll get the furnace data again. If item, you know what, that should probably be the 3. Furnace data, input item dot item. Then the new fuel, well, I'm reading the line below it. So the new input item is the same as the existing input item. So yeah, again, just remove the item from the inventory and add one to the input item quantity. So yep, basically the same as below, but with the input item instead. which makes me think there might be a better way of doing this, but for now we will just type it out, keep it all separate so I can see what's going on, figure out bugs and things, and then later on when it's all working, maybe then I can refactor if it needs it. Otherwise, the new input item is different. So yeah, just the same as below. So let's see, if furnace data input item dot item does not equal null, then that means there is something currently there and we need to add the item back. And we're adding back the quantity of the input items that is sitting there. And then this reset input item to null, which we've already set up, which just makes everything nothing again. Null, 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 no quantity, no progress. Otherwise, oh no, there's no else for this. We just move on. If item is not null, then we want to add something to input. Add item to input, which is what we just created. And then lose the item that we've just added. And then at the bottom, we just do the same sort of thing to refresh the window, activate the window so we can continue selecting. And if the current item we are hovered on is undefined, that means that there is now nothing there and we should select the last. And then we just call the same function to refresh that little window that shows the input items and the fuel, etc. So let's see, that just gets tacked on at the end. So that is what happens when we select input. So now that we have something selecting, or I assume it works, we then need to display something. So the furnace display, draw the input. At the moment it just says input item, but it's going to look somewhat similar to this. Item name is going to equal input data item.name. But yeah, we want to do the same little validation here. If input data.item is nothing, if it's undefined or null, then we just return because we don't want to draw anything here. Otherwise, we'll grab its name and then draw an icon, and that will be input data item dot icon index, and we'll draw it at x and y. A lot of this, if you have sort of good variables set up and some sort of consistency, a lot of the code ends up being very similar, which keeps it uniform, keeps it readable, and you can basically just copy what what you've previously done. Okay, so let's see. Then we want to draw the name, but here is where I'll use the backticks to do this sort of thing again. Item name. Oh yeah, we do need a quantity. It's just not. I thought that was fuel level this was talking about, but no, it's just the quantity of the fuel item. So same thing, input data dot item. No, dot quantity. There we go. And we'll do times item quantity, draw it at x, y, and for that width, and align it to the left. At the moment, I'm just drawing this text, but I would rather switch this into being a little gauge graphic that I don't know, maybe I actually don't know how I would do that because at the moment I'm just adding some sort of number to the furnace, like you have 100 fuel in the furnace, but there's no real maximum that that could be. So if I was to try and turn that into a gauge, I don't really think it would work. But so maybe I'll just keep it as a number then. Or I guess it could just be the maximum that you've put in for that item. Yeah, okay, that's an idea. I'll leave myself a to-do in case I forget. Okay. So yeah, let's see. This should hopefully just work. Um, if we put an input item. Oh yeah, that was the other thing. At the moment, we have a way of grabbing the fuel items from the item window, but I am not selecting any input items. So that's the next thing. Item list, let's see. So if it's fuel, then I'll do this. We don't have weapon or armor, but we do have input. So what we're going to catch here, it would make sense if we only want items to be in this list if it has furnace recipe. So if the item meta fuel is not that, so it's essentially the same thing. If there's no item, return false, don't include it. Item.meta. I've already forgotten what that was. Furnace recipe. So hopefully doing this just says when the item window has a category of input, only show items that have a recipe. Only show the items which can be turned into something else. And I guess that's just a config option that maybe someone, if you're putting this into your game, you would rather have every item and it's up to them to try and figure out which ones work. But I think for the sake of not wasting the player's time, we'll just have the items in there. And now I still want to add a nothing to the input. So let's see where I did that for the fuel. Make item list. If it's fuel, we add null to the end. So let's or if this dot category is equal to input. I don't think we'd want this for output because we don't want them to collect null. So I'm thinking the output isn't even going to be this anyway. The output won't try and get any items from the inventory. So this is nothing. And this can be removed because it's all of the windows. Oh no, that's wrong. I've literally just said um, it's not the output window. So I'll need some sort of catch-all here. Well, not a catch-all, a fallback. That's what I'm looking for. So if it's fuel or input, get all the items from the inventory and filter it, and then push nothing at the end. So they've got an option to remove the item, and then have the output item list at the bottom, which is going to be taken from furnace furnace data, because that's something I'll need to add, some sort of output in the furnace. Right, so let's see. Let's see if that's us. There we go. So we can add coal or wood, and then we can switch to input. And currently, for some reason, it's unselectable. So let's see why. Is enabled. Okay. Or this category is equal to input. And I'm just going to preemptively put this one in. If the item is nothing, wait, hold on. Return. Can we just return item? So this says if you're in the fuel or the input menu, an item can always be selected, whether that is nothing or whether that's an item. And then the only other case is the output. So we're saying if the item is a thing, if the item does exist, then it's enabled. But if the item doesn't exist, then it's not enabled, which means they can't click it. That sounds like solid logic. We'll see if it works later though. Okay, there we go. It's overlapping, so that's just a bit of a small bit of change needed there. And also, the text is maybe a bit too big, which is annoying because I might just try and cut it off instead of making the text smaller. I like the text all having some sort of uniformity to it. It looks better, I think. So I might just have to truncate this wording if it goes too long, and I'm not sure how to do that with RPG Maker at the moment, but we can figure it out. So where's this display? Okay, so yeah, we've done it here where we take the X, we add on the icon width, and then a little bit of padding 4, but I haven't done it here. So again, just a quick check, and then I'll move on to the next thing. Yep, looks much better. Field, input, output. So what am I really looking at here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, maybe 13 is the most. We should try and cap it at. Um, I'm not sure if this is the best way to do this, but I'm thinking of adding some sort of item name length. So how do I do that again? Let's try and figure out how to add some sort of parameter to the plugin. Uh, doesn't need anything. That's a command which we're not interested in. Well, there doesn't seem to be one in these example plugins. Cool. Okay, let's try dumping this in. I'll put it in here. So the parameter is what should I call this? Item name length cutoff. Ugh. Item name truncate. Um, okay. Item name length. The length. The number of characters in an item's name that will be displayed before truncating. I think that's the word for it. Default's 13. And then we'll need this kind of thing. Just copy that. Just say parameters, and then anything else I add can be here. Item name length or 10. I'll just put 99 because I don't think any item name should be more than that. So that technically means just as long as the item name, the entire thing. Yeah, item name length isn't very descriptive. It's kind of a bad variable name. Number of allowed characters in item name. Okay, that's really long, but I'm just gonna go with it. Number of allowed characters in item name. We're just gonna use that everywhere. So I can just use this now, I believe. Um, that's the wrong thing. Here we go. How do I do substring in JavaScript? String dot huh, slice method. Oh, so it does use substring. What's the difference? Oh, the substring is considered deprecated, right? So slice. Oh, so, oh, I see what it's saying. Substring and slice are okay, but that like shortened text one isn't okay. Okay, let's just go with okay. Substring. Start at 0, which is the start, and then grab the first 5. Okay. Uh, so there we go. Start 0, and the endpoint will be this. And I may as well make a command or a function for this. Get first X characters, number of characters, oh, and also text. So return text dot substring 0 and number of characters. So instead of me having to copy this over and over again, I can just pass that name into the function. There we go. Same thing for this one. Item name. Let's see if it works. So plugin options, open this, number of allowed characters, number of characters in an item's name that will be displayed before truncating. Okay, so put it down to 5. So these both have 4. Oh, okay. It's not a function, it says. Oh, it's furnace command it's added it to when I meant furnace display. So yeah, these we won't say here. These are both 4, so that's fine. There we go. Unco. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks good. Let's put it back to 13. I'm in the completely wrong area. You know what? Let's make it 11, and I want to add something else here. Another parameter. Truncated name appendage. I don't know if that's the right use of the word, but yeah, truncated name appendage. That's it's fine. It's fine. Maybe text is what works there. I don't know if that should be string. We'll try text, and if I need to make it string, I will. The text that is added to an item's name when it has been truncated. And in here, I'm just going to do 2 dots. I was thinking 3, but 3 seems like too much. I don't want to take up that much space with 3 dots. So same again, let's just do const truncated name appendage